G'day. Thanks for listening. Good evening. Hope you're well where you are. This is a medical cannabis show that respects the law and promotes organic growing. So I hope you're into those things. And today it's going to be microbes. Woohoo! Microbes are cool. Promotes organic growing. So on this, I'll wait a little bit. I'll just give it and see 30 seconds, see if someone arrives, and then I'll start talking about microbes and a bit of the cannabis news too. This is what it's going to be about today. Add to stream, all this sort of stuff. So I've got a couple of cool studies relating to microbes. I like that little snazzy thing on the left there. I'll put it large. How do I get large? Let's go large. This one. On the bottom left, I just like the little cartoony thing. Hey, there's Cheer Bro. G'day, Muddy. Nice to see you. Well, brother, pretty cold where you are from what I see. I like the cold. It's cold down here. So yeah, microbes. Just going to talk a little bit the ins and outs, what goes on in the plant and around it. There's some cool things about quorum sensing, how microbes chat to each other and how they work in their biofilm. That's what this little slide relates to. That's pretty interesting on why they put the biofilm up and how they have the reactive oxygen species in it and to stop others coming in, all the antibiotic products. It's why lactobacillus isn't as symbiotic as you'd hope, because it's very good at putting down biofilm. And this one on the right. Okay, I'm going to start. It's been long enough. So what's the news is going on this week? There's been some cool stuff, I remember. Share screen. This is all I'm going to get to today. There's not many, because there's not many discussions. I'll probably skim through a few. Yeah, Colorado law is allowing online sales officially take effect. It's so cool. In BC, when I lived there for quite a few years, it was just so handy. Just look online, see what the nice flavors were, and just be happy. Get what medicine you need. This is the top 10. Can you guess which cities in the world consume the most cannabis in the world? 4 of them in the United States. So number 1's New York, 2 Sydney, 3 is Los Angeles, 4 is Chicago, 5 is Rome, 6 is Houston, 7 is Toronto, gosh, 8 is Tokyo, and Prague and Vienna. That's what they reckon. So yeah, these lists are really hard to put together, but that's just according to this study done by Center for Advancing Health. Very good. Next. And Albania has finally taken the step. Albania joins the ranks of European countries finally legalizing medicinal cannabis and industrial hemp. Well done, Albania. That's good. Something too, Morocco have done something legally as well. They're in there as well. I thought I like this because you think, wow, look at this big jungle. And then look at the people down the bottom here. Look how small they are. You go, no way. This has got to be some sort of edit thing. Looks like big redwood trees in the forest. And then you zoom in, you go, oh, okay, that's just a bit of twigs. It's not trickery or anything. I like that one. And also to look over here, and it's to do with microbes. So look at this. What's going on with that leaf? I picked that out too. Everything else is pretty good. See how there's a bit of a fungal infection, I reckon, going on there. It could have been dropped. Like if the other leaves are doing it, I'd say fungal infection. But if it's only this one on the outside here, it might have just been influenced by something. Oh, look, there's something on it too. So yeah, it might just be that one leaf doing its hypersensitive reaction. Yeah, it's cool. See the people? That's fun me out. That's funny, is that? In chat. Oh, actually, I'll say good day to chat, see if there's any. This is some sustainable sunnies that's come out. Look at that, fully made of hemp. How rad. Oh, actually, I shouldn't say fully. I don't think the screen is, but everything else is. Stop share. Small tubes. Good day, mate. Here's going. Did you guys get spun out too from that big forest with the little people down the bottom? This one. Wow, look how small they are. How big this is. Whoa. It's only twigs. Speaking of big though, this is the oldest tree in the world. And you can see this one's not doctored up. It's in Tanzania. And they reckon it's 6,000 years old. Isn't it? Look at the lower limb here. That's the size of, like, literally the size of a car, the lower limb. And this is the size of a house. If you were to carve something in, you could have a few houses in there. That's impressive. Imagine its roots too, gee whiz. And this is, because today's talking about microbes, this is a cool plant, as you can see, very nice. And it's got trap plant in front of it. See over here, the trap plants? They're to trap microbes. And as you know, they work pretty good. Marigolds, they got pyrethrum, chrysanthemums. There's quite a few different trap plants that you can use to attract the bugs and hold them. And then they'll just stay around there and colonize. Stay away from plants that you want. Here's a study. What's this? This says physically active tokers feel cannabinoids help them recover despite a lack of scientific evidence. And this is also saying that it's used for recovery. Oh, hang on. I was trying to interpret it a bit. I haven't read this for a bit. Exercise moderates being used by cannabis users on the rank. So, because athletes are getting into CBD especially, but they're also saying that THC is very useful. You can utilize it to recover as well, from this survey says. In, when was this? 2023. Look at that. That's some slurricane. That'll help anyone recover. This is the plant with all of the bacteria you can see is in red, and the blue bits are, sorry, the bacteria is in blue, and the red bits are the fungi, and the different stages of the plant. So in the stems, petioles, and leaves, there's all different types of bacteria and fungi that colonize in the areas that suits them. So there's different types of humidity and moistures and type stuff, and wind flow, and things that they really like. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Most common endophytes harbored in different tissues. This is a very interesting thing. So in a soil particle, there's these stratified layers of oxygen. So right in the center it can be zero. So if you've got molecules that are half an inch or 12 millimeters across, I always like to crush them down a bit in your fingers. So if they're that big, just crush them down, because there's a chance that with the right clay and your texture that you have in your substrate, that you could actually get this. And as you know, you don't want any anaerobic microbes, because they're the ones that colonize all the bad stuff, the Mycetes and the problematic Pythium and Fusarium and Septoria and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, I thought. And is that? I like that. It's so simple. It's how they identify bacteria under the microscope. So you're not really looking at what type of species it is. You can tell what genre it comes from, because like this one is a bacillus, because it's like the Tic Tac, or Pseudomonas is also this shape. These round ones are coccus. So it's just how you sort of identify them under they might be an amoeba. That'll do. Pretty cool. Actually, I should pull the microscope out. What does this identify? This is a study that was done. Actually, I'm going to go through a little bit later on, It just shows the difference. Microbes added how you can control disease. So by adding them into your rhizosphere, they can control. When you put a little bit, you inoculate, you might do a transplant, and you might put just a little bit of dust of the beneficial bacteria on the roots, and then that'll be enough for them to get inside of it and colonize and multiply in the plant and work symbiotically. So you don't have to keep doing it. That's, yeah, and spraying, you can spray good stuff. You spray bad stuff, you can kill all your good ones that you've built up. That's the worst thing about spraying. And you want biochar and chitin. That's really good to harbour and have little homes for them to build up. We all like homes, and they put out their biofilm to try and get their little area built up. Assisted breeding, manures and compost to add different. They're really good to add different colonies. Wow, look at this weapon. I had to put it in because I thought that's a good blooming effort. It's 80, nearly 82 on the scales. Not bad at all. 82 grams. Take that. This is appropriate because it's to do with the soil symphony, saying what's happened if you've got dead and lack of microbes. It'll look like this, and you won't have much action. And you can have as much water as you want, but it's not going to churn over, and you're not going to get the action that all the chemical exchanges and everything that you really want to take place. So it's just a bit of a summary. I'm not going to read any of that. I just like the image, the cartoon. You can read it later if you'd like. This was good too. I like this one. You see the airflow? And that's going to really reduce your chances of microbes, because they don't like anything that's really air, especially fungi. They don't like airflow. So if you can continue everything flowing, it's less chances that things can take over. I like that. And that's all in one direction. See that? It just keeps it going. That's pretty cool. So that would keep a really bit. If you were to do an air diagram, that would be really, really good. I like that. Instead of usually people, they blow at it, this is taking the whole thing and getting the whole, it's like more like outdoors, I reckon. Props to that. Yeah, look at the roots you get from it. And it all bleach white. As they say, you want it to be as white, the whitest thing in that image. It's very healthy. Oh, look, there's a bit of brown actually at the top. See, probably because that was too root bound in its pot. This is brown. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all. Oh, it's good to see these things. Oh, this is for all you folk in the Midwest. Just some comparisons of folks that smoke. Midwest adult use, Illinois, Michigan, adult users, cannabis use frequency, all markets versus the Midwest. So I've never used, but I'm an eyes open to eyes shut person. So it's multiple times a day. This is some common garden pests you'll see, more so for the outdoor grower. And if you see these things, these are the pathogenic ones or the problematic ones. So you know that they're not beneficial or to be kept. So if you do see them, that you want to get rid of them. Yeah, look at the harlequin bug. It's pretty remembered by that. How it's a nice pattern. Snail, squash vine, roots. All of these slugs and stuff, that's neem's good for them. Aphids. And I like this because it just says, eat your veggies. I thought, wow, nice article. I'd say cheers to that. This is hop latent virus disease, but it does appear to be, could be a magnesium deficiency. So you're thinking, oh, look at that. It's, I mean, it is a bit more speckled than magnesium. It's a bit more thorough throughout it, but it's just something to think about. You know, you might think it's one thing, but it could appear to be another thing. So you could rule that out by doing a magnesium foliar at 100 ppm with Epsom salts, which is, I think, about 20% magnesium. And then if it didn't change within 2 days, doing a couple of applications, kept the same, you know, you got more problems. And I like this art. That's rad. 2 things I support, psilocybin and THC and CBD. It's, actually I should say more. You know, the chemo, it's called chemotype. I've been seeing coming up a bit more in the feeds, chemotype or chemovar instead of indica and sativa. And I kind of like it because it does relate with all the terpenes and the cannabinoid mixed together. Even though I am sativa sensitive, because I'm caffeine sensitive and it times to elevate me heart rate. This is to do in the art section. So this is for all you persons that want to make money out of it. Like Mr. Martial Artist. Hello, mate. How's it going? You want to make some money at home? You think, how can I make blimmin' money? So if you've got a good hobby, or we all like to consume, so possibly some art. And I like this, just blatantly put in the background. It looks pretty nice. This is maybe chefs or caterers or events persons. And look at the leaf example they got. I'd nearly be worried about proceeding. That looks like it's got a disease in it. That's kind of like a hot latent virus disease. So it could be magnesium, but it's speckled. It's a bit different. This is cool too. All you cooking folk. CBD infused chocolato. Yum. And for anyone in the Kingsborough County region, this is a course you can sign up and go to if you're interested in cooking with your medical cannabis. And there's all different types of things that they offer in this course too. So I thought, it popped up today on my feed. So I thought, it's relevant. I don't even know where it's in New York. There you go. Okay. Is anyone up in upstate New York? Think about doing that. Eligibility is quite low. Excuse me. It's quite low. Hello, martial artist. Say g'day. G'day, martial artist. Nice seeing you. Hey, here's Topic Spoon. How you going, mate? It's a pretty general chat. Actually, while we're here, I'm going to show a little bit on some screen share stuff on here. So Morocco legalizes cannabis as well. Australia's going to be last, poor New Zealand. These folks in the States, so blooming lucky. Yep. But divvying up the profits. That's right. Our countries are too greedy. They're just trying to breed. They've got 300% taxes and stuff on it here. Yeah. Pretty unfair. That's why people don't really adopt that program, because it's, and also let alone the quality. But anyway, well, I'm not going down that route. I'm just saying this Morocco finally did it. Good on them. And look at this photo. This is cool. It's a farmer, so I don't have to hide anymore. Good on him. In the Rift Mountains. Very nice. Look at things getting just nearing their finish. Probably 1 week to go. Lovely. Does it say anything down here? Oh, it just goes on to say a bit of price. That was interesting about how much they get ripped off there. The poor people, just like most farmers. It's just a shame. Oh, well, government makes everything, don't they? Next on the list was Canada decriminalizing drugs. When will Australia? And look, this is written by a Drug Policy Australia website. So yeah, everyone around the world, Australia's just, the reason why they've done psilocybin is because of the final, what is it? It's $15,000 to $25,000 for a program. So they've seen that they can make a massive amount of profit on it. So, which of course, fair enough, but still, how about helping people? Harm reduction, just like this says. The Australian government preaches the importance of harm minimisation, but yet look at how their spending is. Proof's in the pudding. Not much I can do about that, but we all know. Anyway, can you guess what cities consume the most cannabis in the world? I've already been through that one. Study finds no link between high THC cannabis and psychosis. This was pretty cool. So this puts all those people, all those doctors that just blame psychosis. It's cannabis psychosis, bang, you know, that's the first thing they go to because they don't like it. But this study where they tested 400 people found it to not be the case, whereas a summary. No association was found between THC concentration in cannabis and cannabis dependence. There was weak evidence of a small association between cannabis potency and depression and anxiety. There was no association between high potency cannabis preference or THC concentration in cannabis and psychosis-like symptoms. High potency cannabis preference and THC concentrations might be associated with symptoms of depression, but more evidence is needed to understand their relationship. The reason why there is depression it's because when people don't have it, like me, when I run out or on rations, you get depressed and you start and go back to living all these stresses and yuckly and all these, etc. What's this last one? Soil and microbiome for plant disease suppression. Oh, that's on microbes a bit later. Okay, I'm still sharing. Yep, good. Okay, next one. Drinks. This is 10 drinks that come up in the list. And I thought, wow, look at them all just going well. Be nice to get involved with that. But for you folk that want to try and start making some, you might have missed the bandwagon, I think. This is pretty cool for events or florists or weddings. Look at this bouquet. That's a nice blooming bouquet, if I don't say so myself. Roses, kush, very good. Chunky. Yeah, that's nice too. See the nice and tight. Very good. Cannabis Drinks Expo. See all you folk who was for an expo, as you can see, so you can get funky with your online art stuff. And this is just nice art. Under the crepuscular rays coming through, with nice flowers. Some more looking art. And this was for a function in Canada. That was their flyer for it. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Put that out and show it, so I might be able to get some entrepreneurship ideas for themselves. And here we go, starting on the microbes. Finally, you say, entomopathogenic fungi have a wide range of hosts, over 750 species, and are reported to be harmless in their environment, but very effective against problematic dwellers on plants. And you can see this one, like they go down to here to say Beauveria bassiana and Mycorrhizal and Sopalae are representative. And you can see this is a picture of Beauveria bassiana, and it creates a white musculin disease. And that's what that looks like on the outside. I use Beauveria bassiana, so if I see any problems, I'll apply it around, and when I see this, I go, yeah, cool, it's worked, because that entomopathogenic fungi, which is Beauveria bassiana, it's gotten in there and multiplied, and it's slowly, anyway, it's done its job. It's not on the plants anymore. And here's a cool vibrating mini shaker that says integrating biological control, the ecology of fear and biotremology to improve plant health and productivity. Well, it's already shown that they don't plant, insects don't like it, because when you shake things, they can't land and they can't colonize to lay their eggs and that sort of stuff. So they don't like it. But it's also another thing called, what is it? What's his name? He's patented this thing in the States that grows plants through vibrations, and it actually helps them. Geez, that didn't help much, did it? Sorry. Well, this little mini shaker just helps it with insects. I think that's what they put that in for, not with the growth. But it's a good little biological control that you don't have to apply to things, the soil, or do anything like that, or nothing's ruined. Vertical transmission of seed microbiomes and seed biopriming in maintaining plant fitness and ecological functions. So by priming your seeds, or by soaking them in beneficials, when will germinate, they'll have those endophytes that will work inside, and then the ectophytes an Arbuscular Mycorrhizae will work outside. And then it just goes on and goes systemically through the plant, and it all just symbiotically works out. What's this little puts of the biofilm? Oh yeah, there's a microbe that you can see inside of the cell. This is inside of the cell, and it puts out a little biofilm on the outside, so it helps block other problems. There's a cool thing on the biofilm a bit later. I'm not going to read everything else. You all know it's beneficial. It helps so much. There's 2 more slides for it. So beneficial microbes. It's got the mycorrhizal fungi, nitrogen-fishing bacteria, plant growth promoting rhizobacteria like Trichoderma Fusarium, which is rad, and Pseudomonas. So inoculate it in water, soak it around, and it just sticks to the outside. And when it comes down and germinate, it's got all the epiphytes around it, and then when it germinates, they become endophytes and go inside, and they do their things. Very cool. There's also a nanotechnology class I did a few years ago that was on seed priming with other mostly metallic substances and different chemicals, and there's about a list of 20 of them, and they go on to replace nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in their growth and development stage, and it shows some good controls on where they actually yielded higher from priming the seeds without any fertilizing or feeding. So much benefit. Novel framework. Here's the 3rd one. So this must be the end product. The exploration, isolation of the plants in situ. Not quite sure what's going on here. Genetic engineering, moderated seed coating with probiotics. Okay, seed coating with microbes. And if you do breeding afterwards, like I enjoy, the microbes will be in the seeds as well. Beneficial microbe eruptions. So that might be what that's saying. So out of that, they come, they'll reproduce, and they'll get into the seeds, and then they can start colonizing again, and the inoculated seed microbes will just continue on. Yeah, that's it. Or it's not it. That's what good way of doing it. Oh, this should have been before microbes, but it's got M on it. Sorry about that. Put it in the wrong spot. Psycho, I'm doing my studies at the moment. I'm in week 3, so it's hard for me to try and put together a good show. This is some myths and truths. They're pretty basic, but it's for those, I'm going to read them anyway. Psychoactive potential. The myth can cause high like substance. CBD can get you high, or it doesn't. That's the truth. Type. CBD and THC are similar like compounds. No, they're not. They act on different genes. Headaches. CBD is effective in headache and migraine treatment. There is preliminary proof that CBD or THC are effective in headache or migraine treatment. Okay. Liver effects. CBD causes liver toxicity. It occurs only in very high doses. Oh, really? I didn't know that. CBD oil versus other emulsions of CBD. CBD oil is most effective type of CBD. CBD oil is easy to administer and has no risk of intoxication, and it's easy to store, and it stores for a long time, keeping its integrity. Most other ways of storing it is pretty low, maybe in the hash as well, in the resin, but otherwise it's pretty hard to keep trichomes and terpenes for longer than 6 months without them depleting. Maybe cryogenic, freeze drying, there was another way, but who's going to pay money just to store it? Withdrawal. Cannabis withdrawals do not exist. Well, they kind of do. Cannabis withdrawals is listed on mental health and yes, it's on mental health. If you don't like it, it makes you anxious again, gets you frustrated. Its symptoms include irregularity, trouble sleeping, yeah, when you don't have it. Appetite change when you don't have it. Headaches, yep, these are all when I don't have it. I get bad when I do. Everything's easier. Addiction. What? Withdrawal addiction. It's not real, they say. Is that a myth? Well, it has capacity to change the brain and be addictive. Yeah, it's compared to a lot of other things, even pharmaceuticals. Okay. It's one of the lower end. I would agree with that. I'm sure you do too. Use during pregnancy. Cannabis is safe alternative to some medications. Cannabis crosses the placenta So if it can reach, it can intoxicate the baby. There you go, make up your own mind. Safety, is it always safe? Cannabis overdoses are very unlikely. They do not mean that intoxication is completely safe. It's more so how it's grown safe and how it's the conditions around people who've done it. So people put pesticides and other toxic agents, PGRs and things in it. So that's when it becomes unsafe. But if you were to smoke or ingest too much of a really clean type THC, CBD, which I've done, you just go to sleep. Well, that's what I do. Here we go. Look at this old, back in the Henry Handslinger days, in the early 1900s, America's newest narcotic menace. A puff of smoke started her on her way. Uh-oh. The burning weed within its roots of hell. That's great. How marketing can just pull things apart. It's sad. This was really relevant for today because it's how to get your microbes in better through the phytosphere, through on the leaves. So it shows a leaf droplet that hasn't had surfactant on it, and it just maintains its shape and looks pretty round-like. But here, with surfactant, it's actually dispersed a lot better, and you can see it's getting in a lot more tissue and getting into the pores that are going to it in the dermal tissue and hyphodes and all those things that will absorb it in better. So sitting here, it's just going to evaporate most of it and maybe cause a bit of a magnifying glass effect. That's going to do it. So if you foliar spray, if you want to get your microbes in, try dropping a bit of surfactant. And I recommend some yucca, YUCCA, because it's organic. So without surfactant, sits round with it. It's got more of a shape on it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I thought that was pretty relevant. I always add, and also it helps surfactant, say also when you're doing your administering to the soil or your substrate, it absorbs better. So if you've got a compaction or some type of a dry layer on top, it won't actually skim over the side and go down. It'll just filter through and percolate really nicely. Here we go, the quorum sensing bit. How microbes speak. They speak through quorum sensing. Isn't that amazing? So that's them speaking inside of here. Actually, you go. I put this out of a microbiology book, and quorum sensing is the process of communication between cells in bacteria by inducing different chemicals. This encourages the microbial groups to react rapidly, hinder contending organisms, enhance supplement uptake, and adjust to changing ecological conditions. Likewise, it controls bacterial size and populace and the population. As part of that, bacterial synthesizing, that'll do. So that's quorum sensing, how bacteria speak to each other. That's why they create the biofilms, which is on the outside here, so they can repel others and have a nice little community inside and flourish. So bacteria, the biofilm, can exhibit 10 to 1,000-fold increase in antibiotic resistance compared to some other bacterias. Okay, what's the point in this? One way to disrupt biofilm formulation is to interrupt bacterial communication, also known as quorum sensing. They have pathogenic inhibitors, bacterial, which prevent them from aggregating. Okay, so if you break this reactive oxygen species, they're saying this biofilm might be involved in some of the Ross, what's some of the Ross species? Sorry, I just had a nice bit of pineapple chunk before. Superoxide dismutase, nitric oxide, what's the H2O3, H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, those types of ones. So if you can counter that, you might be able to disrupt the microbes in their process. This one is relations of soil nutrient bacteria and mycorrhizal fungi in relation to the plant. So just shows how well it works in different spaces. Bacteria and soil particles, the inorganic and organic, and the long strings of the mycelium, the fungi bits. So they all interact doing different things that they should be doing. Without going into detail. Actually, there was definitely one before that. What about this one from my other biotechnology class? Where is that one? I'm sure I saw it. It's not there. Oh, well. This is tissue culture stuff. Tissue culture is cool. I don't know why I put that in. Oh, that's right, because they're saying that this is a new way of doing clones. So you can just throw them all into the mix here, go and then they're all done. They'll all root, and you see them root, and you go, cool. And you tip them upside down into this tray, and then you just put them out. Got your little plantlets. So it's just a clean way of doing it. That's right. That's how it relates. That's today. Oh, and this is cheers to you. THCA smoothie. How cool is that? And I'll stop sharing. I'm just going to say there's one more plant study. G'day to Dave, 1969. There you go, mate. And the last study is, that's right, it was a relation one. It was a good one. This one, soil and phytomicrobiome for plant disease suppression and management under climate change. Because you know the climate changes, everything's going haywire. So the plants are signed, they're doing epigenetics and adapting too. So we've got no choice, we have to. Otherwise, well, anyway, you know, I'm not going to get into that debate. So what was cool in here? This was where one of those slides come from before. Here it is. That's where that slide came from. So I kind of went through it, just not really going to go through it again. So I think I talked a couple of minutes on that one. Talks about different ways. This is more so related to outdoors. You can pick up indoors hints from it. It's more so outdoors. So that the way you till your ground up relates to the amount of microbes and problematic things you have. Remember that study I showed a few weeks ago that showed from doing the pythium in your soil outdoors increased when you were tilled up the soil, but by no-till, it actually decreased. Mulch is always good. You can even inoculate your mulch. I've got a video on that, how to inoculate your mulch, because you should always have some sort of top dressing on your wherever things are growing, your plants. And then if you're coming into spring especially, you should do a bit of inoculation of some beneficials into your mulch, and which, like, say grass clippings, for instance, put them in a bucket with your beneficials, bubble them up, 24 hours, a smidgen of molasses, a nailful, and yeah, distribute. And that'll just be good little harboring, that'll just protect the plants a little bit better. Yeah, what makes a difference from growing out one cultivar, or if you've got different types in there, because different types, different cultivars put out different terpenes which attract or repel different insects. So mostly you've got to be an experienced grower if you want to try and mix up your species. What else is there we can pick out of this? Fertilization. Yeah, I only really support compost, organic compost. Actually, I'm doing a pretty cool experiment with organic compost at the moment. But just how to make it. There's quite a few different methods that I've gone through in the past on how to make it. I'm just putting them to use, seeing what the go is. See if you really do need to do this. Do you really need to do that? So it's fun. Because, yeah, organic compost, worm castings, that's my substrate. I really enjoy those two. Organic fertilizers. Here we go. This is where they talk about that, such as compost, manure, blood and bone, poultry litter. Be careful with poultry litter. It's got to be, I don't use that because it's got to be broken down. I'd put poultry litter into the manure first, into your compost or your worm castings, and have that broken down because it's very rich, ammonia-like. You smell it and it smells like, it's got that ammonia. Enzymes. That's pretty cool. Talking about that at the moment in one of my microbe classes. going on how important it is for the enzymes and their activity and temperatures for enzymes too. Biochars, rad, chitin, little areas for them to chill out in. Clay materials, if you don't want to take, bog it all up. Biocontrol agents. Oh, here we go, there's another article. Illustration of impact of agricultural practice on the phytomicrobiome. So phyto is plant, micro is the bugs, and biome is the area they live in. So on the right, it shows just conventional agriculture, how there's more tillage, more monocrops, chemicals, all sorts of chemical pesticides, which is going to deplete and make everything low and barren. Where over here, sustainable agriculture has no-till, organic mulches, intercropping to get different species in, which brings in different attractants and different pollutants and doesn't keep things the same. Organic fertilizers, biocontrol agents, and then soil amendments. There's a massive difference, and this sustains and holds the soil and builds it up. It's got to take quite a few years of doing it, but I'm not going to go on about it. It's really cool though. What else can we pick out of that? I think that was it. Oh no, that's right. There was one of these tables, table 3, that shows the effects of climate change. We get into it. All right, it's a big study. Multiplication, migration, pathogens, evolution. Furthermore, we can look at the list of plant pathogens influenced by climate change. So amazingly, they picked up some changes that have already happened. Increased temperature, increased the pathogen population. What else is some examples? New species of botrytis found in province of China in 2010 due to increasing temperatures. So yeah, the temperature is really affecting things for the worst, and then the higher temperatures will lower the humidity as well, favoring those bugs that like the lower humidity. That's cool. That was the last chart. I like that list, just how things are changing. I think that's about it. Yeah, everything up here's done. Let's have a bit of a skim through. Sometimes it mixes stuff for some reason. That's about it. If you've got any questions or anything to add, please add them now. I'll put the background back up. There we go. Hey, Dave. What's happening, Dave? Hope everyone's well today, says Dave. Yeah, going all right. Going all right, thanks. Does anyone have any stuff to add? I can talk a lot more about microbes, as I have in the past, but I'm not going to go into stuff that I've really previously talked about, unless you want me to specifically got questions or anything like that related to it, and then I'll do it. Because otherwise I feel that I'm just wasting people's time, because no point in hearing things twice. So I'll give it a little bit of time, 60 seconds. Any suggestions? What else can I say? Next week, I've got a few slides ready. Not many, but there's a couple. Can I give you a little hint? Some ones I've picked out already. Oh yeah, I like the bonsai one. I'll show that. Because bonsais are interesting, and why can't we do bonsais in cannabis? Wow. Why can't we do bonsais? So, yeah, in theory you can. I don't know how it'll go in practice, because there's a lot of re-vegging going on. Because being an annual, it wants to die off. So it's a pretty cool topic. Be good to play around with and experiment with. Yes. So I won't be having for the next 3 months, I've got my studies to do, and I won't put as much effort in, so that's why today's probably not as long as it usually has been. Sorry, but I don't get paid for this, so I get it all for free. So thanks everybody for rocking up. I'll be here next week again, trying to put together some sort of show and give the news, how things are going around the world, how Australia's taking their blooming sweet time and not doing the best, and how we can get better benefits from this rad medicinal plant. How we can all feel good in all multiple ways. So thanks everybody for again listening, rocking up. 10 people I see. Thank you to you 10. I appreciate it. And if you've got any suggestions, please welcome them, and I'll take them on board too. And I'll try and put together some slides relevant for those topics. So if you've got an area of interest you've heard in some other chats or some other people talking about, and you maybe want me to show some slides on that, please add that or put that in chat, or you can go to my community page on my YouTube and mention stuff there. And my playlists actually on YouTube have thousands of free lectures for plant, soil science, and microbiology. You can just skim through. They're all my private lectures that I get. I save them all there. And that's about it, I reckon. If you want to spend some money, you can. There's a few little perks to getting that. $5, there's $80, there's $150, and $300. A few different things you can get for that. Show appreciation just for the first one, bit of help on the other ones. So if you're struggling or anything like that, you want my educated opinion, there's some ways to reach out and you don't feel like you're not contributing. Yeah, there's a good little summary. Other than that, thanks everybody for just mentioning the comments you do and keeping this show going, because without you folk, it wouldn't be a show. I appreciate it lots. Yeah, like you martial artists. Turbo, atomic spoon, small tubes. Yeah, woo. Thanks everybody. Happy growing, happy breeding, and good health to you all. Bye bye.